interesting when you examine the discourses around you. So I started taking interest in how people used language. I analyzed people's comments. I laughed at some utterances that were pregnant with meaning but oblivious to the speaker. And I still eavesdrop on people's utterances so that I can get the motivation to understand discourse better. That is why today I can talk to you about discourses I have heard around me. The Vice Chancellor said I should speak in very simple terms. I will try to do that, VC. But I want you to understand two major concepts. One is discourse and the other one is power. So what is discourse? If you take the dictionary, it will say that discourse is language used above the sentence. But when you listen to linguists, applied linguists especially, talk about discourse, they are talking about discourse as a tool that is used to construct social life. It's a tool that is context dependent, and it is also controlled by society. By the time I finish, you understand all these. If you don't understand, don't worry. So, names like Fairclough, G, and others want us to understand that discourse is not just putting sentences together above the sentence level or a paragraph, but it is also the practice that goes with the use of the language. And let me tease your mind a little. So if you look at what I have on the screen, I have one image, which is an exit. E-X-I-T, exit. It is discourse. Because if we come here, and I don't know if we have an exit here, there should be an exit. If you go into any room and you find exit, spelled E-X-I-T, you know that if you want to leave, this is where you pass. If you find this other image, which is an arrow looking to the left with somebody looking like a man running, you cannot say that they are having an Olympic Games, because it is still, the context will tell you that this is also an exit, but this one is an emergency exit. Then if you come to the third image, where you have a young child sitting under a tree with literacies written on the image, you can explain that this discourse is not just about literacies. It is also about the young boy sitting under the tree, telling you that the boy is not just looking at something, but trying to read a book to gain some literacy skill. So when we say that literacy is context dependent, and it is not just a string of words or a string of sentences, this is just what I can tell you in very simple terms. Let me tease your mind further. If it were a class, I will ask you, what is the discourse here? You have a butterfly, and then you have a word. I'll first talk about the butterfly. In our current political context, and remember I said discourse is about context. In our current political context, butterfly does not designate only a beautiful insect. The discourse around this image has moved from an insect to include resistance, defiance, and a call for socio-political change. So it is not just a butterfly. Now, if you go to somebody's house and the person has a picture of a butterfly, I'm sure the first question you ask is, do you belong to the Afafanto group? So this is discourse. When you take the other one, which is butterfant, you may want to ask, what kind of word is this? And you may say, well, this is not an English word. Of course, It is not an English word, but it takes the structure of how English words are formed. You clip and then you add to another form. So Butterfund is a political satire. It is not an English word, but I'm sure you all understand it. So it is not just the image, the meaning of the image that gives it meaning, the full meaning, but also the social practice of the people who believe in this image and the word. So do not think that what you see, the picture you see, is just a picture. I have grown, and of course, before I go on, there is also a mask. I have grown to see that, to realize that the domain for discourse is not always political. So what I have given is a political context. But there are many other domains in discourse. You have the academic discourse domain. You have the political discourse, institutional discourse, legal discourse, media discourse, business discourse, and scientific discourse. There are many others. I have worked in all of them except business and scientific discourse because I'm not a science person. I like my language. I'm fine with that.